All right, with Anthony Hernandez pulling out of his fight against Brendan Allen, I must say I am very disappointed, but I'm not going to complain because this is MMA and injuries happen. Let's focus on his new opponent in Brendan Allen. This fight feels a little anticlimactic because RDR just beat Robert Whittaker, and if you can beat Robert Whittaker, I'm pretty sure Brendan Allen should be a field day. But you never know. This is MMA and styles make fights. And maybe Brendan Allen went back to the drawing board and he's evolved like Charles Oliveira did before. People used to look at him as like a quitter. And then boom, he knocked out Michael Chandler, submitted Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje, lost a competitive fight against Arman Tsarukyan, and is regarded by many as one of the greatest lightweights that ever lived. Now, do I see Brendan Allen becoming a champion? Probably not, but there's always a possibility. And at the very least, he could be RDR. And that claim wouldn't have sounded as crazy if RDR hadn't yet beat Robert Whittaker. But now this fight with Brendan Allen just seems anticlimactic because judging on their last few wins, RDR just looks like the better fighter. His last 3 wins are Bo Nickal, Kevin Holland, and Robert Whittaker. Bo Nickal and Kevin Holland are somewhat notable wins, but they're not the best. The one that really stands out for me is Robert Whittaker because going into that fight, Rob was the favorite. And before the fight happened, I made a video saying that RDR is going to go there and implement his clinch game and come out victorious. And I even pinned that video on my Instagram saying you can come back and laugh at me because I'm confident that RDR is going to beat Robert Whittaker. Rob is a great fighter, but he's never faced anyone like Robert Whittaker. And his biggest strengths aren't going to work against someone like RDR because we've already established that RDR is a bad striker and it worked against him when he went up against Anatoly, who is juiced by the way. But just the simple fact that he's going up against a power puncher and lacks defensive fundamentals, let alone offensive abilities, he's probably going to lose that fight. Robert Whittaker is a great striker. He knows how to fight on his terms, blitzing in, landing his ones, his 1-2s, occasional 1-2 head kicks, blitzing back out before you can counter him. And it works very well for him, but let's face it, Robert Whittaker has pillow hands, relatively speaking. I can name so many guys outside of the top 15 that hit harder than him, but for the sake of this video, let's focus on the ones inside of it. There's Izzy, Dricus, Sean Strickland probably hits harder, Paulo Costa. Everyone hits harder than Robert Whittaker. What helps Robert is that he knows how to leverage his punches. He covers some distance before he lands his strikes. He's not someone that can just plant their feet and throw a left hook like Alex Pereira, and only a few people can do that. But my point is, against someone like RDR, you can't be a point fighter. You just can't. You need more than that. You need to be able to put his lights out because he's going to walk you down, have no regard for defense, eat some strikes, but it'll all be worth it once he gets you against the cage and starts landing his knees. Don't believe me? Ask Robert Whittaker's torso. The question is, can Brendan Allen combat this? On paper, I think he's a very good grappler because he has submitted Paul Craig via rear naked choke. That happens to be the only submission he gets in the UFC. And hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. When he went up against Imavov, at times it felt like Brendan Allen was winning the striking exchanges and Imavov was adamant on taking him down. Why? Maybe he was anticipating Brendan Allen shooting for a takedown, potentially scoring it and controlling him for the entire round. So he told himself, you know what? I'm not going to let you do it to me. I'm going to do it to you first. And when he would take down Brendan Allen, he would control him. Wouldn't do that much damage, but he was definitely landing strikes and convincingly winning at least 2 of the rounds. I think he won all 3 of them if I'm not mistaken. That performance was terrible grappling wise, so I can't use that to make an argument that he would beat RDR. But in his fight against Anthony Hernandez, yes, the fight was boring, and that's a good thing for Brendan because we all know Anthony Hernandez as the middleweight Marab. He just chain wrestles these guys, lands more ground and pound than Marab in fact. On top of that, he has a submission threat. But when Fluffy went up against Brendan Allen, he couldn't really do much. He rarely landed ground and pound, couldn't complete any submissions. He was just focused on controlling Brendan Allen and transitioning. Any attempt at effective grappling would just result in him losing the position. And that's a testament of how good Brendan Allen's grappling is. And I think Anthony Hernandez would have beat RDR. So that performance was very impressive despite him losing. Unfortunately, Anthony Hernandez and RDR are 2 complete different fighters. Anthony has more success on the ground with his grappling and RDR has more success on the feet, that is in the clinch. So I don't think Brendan Allen's performance against Anthony Hernandez will be of any significance when he faces RDR, or maybe only in a few aspects. I don't think RDR is going to be able to submit Brendan Allen, but it's not really going to matter. On the feet, Brendan is probably going to have more success because even though he went up against a washed Marvin Vettori, he looked decent. And let's face it, RDR has trash striking, and I'm pretty sure he knows that. So he's going to try to make the fight boring. Boring could be a possibility, but I think it's going to be exciting knowing that he's probably going to be able to let those knees loose once he grabs a hold of Brendan Allen. And he's going to do that to either a decision or he gets a finish. Brendan Allen seems durable, so it's probably not going to be a finish. You guys let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.